Greetings, dear viewer. We are here for round 15 of the ARC Indycar Championship. Only 3 more rounds to go. And the championship really could not be a whole lot closer. Who is that car on the track? That should be right. Immense coughing aside, we visit Ruapuna Park, the outer loop today, or as we recently discovered its true identity, high-speed ring. Just pretend the hairpins are faster corners and they go left to right instead of right to left. So otherwise, this is literally high-speed ring. And it is truly a high-speed circuit, but also kind of a there's little like nooks and crannies, little nuances of the circuit that you wouldn't really expect for a track with literally 5 turns. We have raced with this exact layout in other series, such as particularly the old V8 Supercars series. I don't think Jamie Wright's going to get away with that one. He's being forced to slow down. So who was the one that came out second? A bit of miscommunication there between Jamie Wright and Matthew Daly. Trying to get out of his way. Matthew's trying to wait, because he hasn't started his lap either, and then we just kind of have a dead stop at the final turn. Only the one straightaway here. I mean, there's a second one, but it's not quite as long. Okay, Jamie just can't take that kink for his life. We have the trail braking turn-in of turn 1. A little kink out down the Castrol Straight into a corner called Pothole, which seems appropriately named. The double hairpin complex, as Jamie is now disconnected. I believe the first turn is called Flex Pass or something. And then into the final corner, DIVEBOMB is sideways as he goes through it, in the dirty air of Gabe Pizzola up ahead. Final corner pretty much acts like, think a corner at Phoenix. Enter low, and in, out, in, pretty much. Oh, and around goes Gabe. Never mind, he doesn't quite go all the way around, but he might as well have. There's definitely more things to speak of, but I intend to get around to most of the other commentary notes, as it were, in the middle of the race session. It's qualifying is time for qualifying, obviously. We have a bit of a smaller field in this race. Especially when compared to Snitterton, where we had to have a pre-qualifying lobby. This time we've only got 10 people. We might have an 11th, as I'm hearing that Kyler Boggs may be showing up, and he's just a little delayed. Alright, speaking, he shall appear. There he is. And Jamie Wright's returned. Okay, so it's actually 12. I forgot he was on the list originally. DIVEBOMB with a 42.6 at a 6/10 clear. No, it's 42.4. I'm blind. Or did he just improve? No, he didn't. I don't know. I just can't read that. Alright, cool. It's a very loose-looking setup, by the way that it's handling there. Which would be interesting to keep note of. It's definitely fast, though. 42.3. 42.6 for Matthew Stotts. And Juergensmeyer jumps to a 42.8. And this attempt for Matthew has kind of been derailed by Fidel Fabian, and probably by a bit of lag from Kyler Boggs entering the lobby, and subsequently Jamie Wright, I'm sure, as well. Alright, lungs, whenever you'd like to stop coughing, that would be great. Yep, there is Wright. Matthew Stotts jumps to the top of the board, a 42.28. Picking off DIVEBOMB by 0.02. And while Jurgensmeyer, only about a tenth off of that, in third place. And he is a tenth up. So if he keeps that going, he'll be able to contest for provisional pole here in just a moment. His car looked a little unsettled through the hairpin, but he's still up by roughly a tenth. Even more unsettled out of the hairpins. Final turn for the 18 car. And final corner. Let's see if he kept that 10th in hand. Jurgensmeyer with a 42-1. He will top the board. We are now playing leapfrog, ladies and gentlemen. Our still points leader, Jake Scarborough, is up by quite a bit, and oh man, he needs to be, because that 45.9 is not it. And he finds half a second, but he's still going to have to find a lot more than that. Looking at it, it seems his top speed is too low. He's up another half a second, and he goes around trying to push it too much into pothole. And he's going to mow some grass over there. I'm definitely gonna need a quick drink when we're in between sessions, just so I can maybe stop coughing a little bit. It'd be great. I don't like having to mute my mic every 5 seconds to clear my throat or cough. So Travis has disconnected. Now that might be interesting because he might not be able to get back in time, and he might start in last. That one didn't feel good. Our three previous pole sitters are all on the track. I don't know if this is an outlap for Dylan Bam, but he'll come across the line to either finish or start a run. If it was a outlap, it wasn't great. I think it was. About a quarter of the session left to go. Huge slide into turn 1 for the 2 car. And this lap's not going to be any better off. Literally flat out through pothole for the Matthew Stotts. But he's got some traffic ahead. He's got Jake Scarborough possibly in his way. Dylan Bam pulls off to the side. And that 19 was a lot closer. Not nearly as close as I thought it was. It may not be in his way at all, actually. Stotts immediately teleports to the pits. That was jarring, I must admit. Jurgensmeyer through the hairpin complex. And he is actually behind AJ Nickel as he heads towards the final turn. Yeah, I don't know if he'll get dirty air, but I don't know if he'll get slipstream either from here. Round the last turn, and Jurgensmeyer will improve by a thousandth of a second. Hey, you never know. Crazier things have happened. That 1,000th might be pole. I highly doubt it, but it might be. It will not be. Dylan finds 2.5 tenths. A 42 flat, and he takes the top of the board with that 42 flat. That was redundant. A lot of traffic heading through the first turn, like the middle part of the lap here. Dylan Bam might be cooked here on this lap. Jurgensmeyer's session is over. Oh yeah, Dylan is cooked. Fidel Fabian is on his own lap, and he is in the way. So Dylan will, he will back off about as much as he can get away with. Let the 61 of Jamie Wright go by. That is Jamie, right? That is Jamie. Weird. Oh, because Travis is the 10. And he is running today. Or plan to. Dylan is actually going to pick up a bit of a draft off his former teammate, whom he fired, remind you. Or as a reminder. Stotts and Jurg sessions are over. So it is down to the two alliance teammates of Knickel versus Bam to contest for this pole position, but it just got quite a hurdle to climb. And he ain't doing much climbing with that. With that, Dylan abandons his own lap, as there is no need to have run it. Gabe Gazzola crosses, that's not really a lap he was on. Fidel crosses, the session is over. I don't know if he went over anybody else, he did not. Excuse me. So, a rough qualifying session for our points leader, Scarborough. But everybody else that's in the battle is doing pretty much exactly what they needed to here. I believe we're probably resetting to get Travis. I saw somebody leave just there, and that somebody was AJ, so... Yeah, alright, well, that's a Robbie Lee set, yep. And that is the Lingish Anguage. Or Linglish Anguage. I can't even say it wrong correctly. So whilst we are waiting for the real race lobby to begin, some notes to go into this race. The track is very high downforce. It's winter, and although there's a lot of high tire deg, the temperatures are very low because it might be late summer for us here in America, or North America, but it's therefore winter in Australia and New Zealand. So you're pretty much going to be living and dying on the alternate tire. The primaries are probably going to be close to useless. So the corner names here, I'm able to look back at the track map. We have the Concut Main Straight into Flexopass, which sounds kind of like a stool softener. Or like an anti-constipation medicine. The Castrol Straight into Pothole, into Kelford and Camtech. The Dunlop Straight, and the final corner is called the Rock Sweeper. Just quite a name for a turn. But yeah, the track only really has 5 turns. I mean, there's a little kink on the way into turn 1. It's kind of like it's like a flat Bahrain turn 10. And there's like a little slight, like the slightest of steering movements you have to make on the Castrol Straight, heading from basically the first to the second turn, but we are not Red Bull Ring. We don't count that as a turn. You're about to load into the session, obviously. The track length is only it's 6/10 or 6/7 of a mile. That is a cursed front row. Let's not do that. Yeah, so we've added 2 laps to the race count in order to have a formation lap so we can actually have the proper grid after having to reset the lobby to get oops, excellent bump the PS button. Get the grid set correctly, and we give it 2 rather than 1 because this is such a short track that we might accidentally complete a lap before we even get a chance to set up the grid. And this definitely benefits the pole sitter because now they can control the restart and they don't have to risk a grid start. Which sucks because usually, the grid start is one of the more exciting parts of a race, and we're doing away with that because we have to. Also means I can't just run down the grid order for the race because we're not looking at it. I can assure you, Fidel is not your pole sitter. Alright, we are the strategies and setups are changed. Ignore these green lights. People are revving their engines like it matters. That's actually just wasting fuel. Yes, Dylan Bam, the man who has an entire app set up to help him do setups using telemetry data, but also doesn't have a pit limiter button mapped. The irony. As my stomach starts to cramp, a quick glance at the current point situation heading into the 3rd from last round of this championship. Basically, it is a 6-car race. And even then, 2 of those 6 are definitely long shots. Jake Scarborough does still have the points lead, 445 points. But AJ Knickel and Dylan Bam closed in a lot after Jake's mediocre results last round. So it is now 4 points between Knickel and Scarborough, and 6 between Dylan Bam and Jake Scarborough. 23 back is Jonathan Juergensmeyer, 43 back is Gabe Gazzola, and 50 back is Matthew Stotts. So hilariously, we already have the grid formed, but we have to run another parade lap because it's not a 61-lap race, it's 60. Apparently we're doubling up on this race start here. Looks kind of neat, not gonna lie. Though it's kind of asking for somebody to clumsily bump into a car around them, give multiple vehicles damage, and we have to wave off the whole race start. As Dylan puts his car in the appropriate starting gear, waits for Jurgensmeyer to get alongside him, and green from Ruapuna Park. Dylan Bam, well, he gets away pretty cleanly. You know, being the pole sitter, he has that kind of advantage, especially exacerbated on a too-wide start. Trackside camera being super dramatic for no reason, as Fidel Fabian is off the track at turn 1. Seems to be the only casualty. The pothole is going to be very different in Dirty Air, as Matthew Stotts and Gabe Gazzola have just found out the hard way. That has cost Matthew his rear wing. I believe that is also Kyler Boggs off the track. Oh, Gabe Gazzola is over, and Travis will flip him back over. Are we under caution? Yeah, we are. That should have been that's a silly question, but you know. Travis and Lozano are missing wheels. No, never mind. That just looked weird. Travis is not missing a wheel. Lozano is. Gabe Gazzola is out from that. And perhaps, you know, perhaps true to form, we have a caution on lap 1. What else? Yeah, clearly we need to adjust to the fact that pothole there at turn 2 is not going to be the same corner you were taking in qualifying. You have more fuel in the car, and unless your name is Dylan Bam, you're going to have some dirty air going through there. As I think half the field went wide or completely off the track. As cars are actually going to go a lap down due to the amount of damage they have just taken. Travis and Julian have spent well over a minute fixing their cars, and they have now gone one down as a result of how long it's taken. Which is hardly an ideal start to your race. You get through 2 corners and you immediately find yourself in a crash that puts you a lap down. You know, a lap down when we've completed two laps, one of which is under caution. And Stotts is still going to get out before Julian Lozano does. After all of that, Travis was released before him, but it amounts to naught, all things considered. I really thought taking that drink would do a little more to soothe my throat than it has. It has not helped much. The opening chaos has helped Jake a little. It's gotten him in 5th. But it's taken Gabe and somebody else out of the race entirely, I believe. And we are once again green from Ruapuna Park. We'll see if we can maybe make it to the hairpins this time. Oh, Dylan did not get away quite as well. Jurg is sort of there. But Ijik and Nickel actually peeked down. Jurg's inside, and we have, I think, another mess back here. Kyler Boggs is around. Yep, another multi-car incident. Oh, Travis is around, and he's collected his fellow lap-down driver of Julian Lozano. No flips this time, at least. And so as a result of that, we do stay green. Here comes Matthew Daly. He's tailgating his teammate, but he's not going to really look for a move, I don't think. It's a little early to be foreseeing the issue, especially on your teammate and team owner. Fidel Fabian is also very close with his own teammate, Jake Scarborough. And he's going to pull down the inside and look for a pass with a much better run through pothole. And Fidel Fabian will advance his position over his own team owner. Up ahead, battle between Jurgensmeyer and Knickel, and AJ is going to be victorious there. There's basically a 4-car train here, with 2 of JSR's 3 cars in it, as well as led by Matthew Daly. And Matthew Stotts is just about to find himself out of it as he spins once again in pothole and slides right back across the track and right into Jamie Wright. What the hell was that? That has taken a big chunk out of Matthew Stotts' car and an even bigger chunk out of Jamie's car. That is a missing rear tire and might be a DNF for Jamie Wright in what I can only describe as one of the most stupid rejoins I've ever seen. Hold the brake, Matthew. Good God. Well, that's a caution. As Lozano will take a free pass and get one of his laps back. Oh no, that's just his only lap back. He's only 1 down. Jamie did manage to neander his way back to the pit lane with 3 tires. I'm just still in shock at what I just watched Matthew Stotts do there. How does he have a penalty? Must have been speeding. Probably couldn't stop in time for the pit lane line when he had, like, no wing. Oh, he about missed it again, but he does get it woed down. Man, can my throat please stop being a problem? Actually, drink. Alright, so we are about to... Actually, no, we are not, because the first 2 laps didn't matter, so this is start of lap 9. When we go green, we will be crossing the 1/6 distance mark. The field is almost completely bunched up. We are still waiting on Matthew and Jamie to get here. Actually, no, Matthew and Lozano to get here. And they are about to be here. So we ought to be green this time around. And you can tell, because Dylan's getting back to first gear, that is the telltale sign that we are about to return to racing. At least with how short the track is here, cautions don't take too long. And we are green for the third time from Ruapuna Park. Maybe we'll get a green flag run this time, eh, folks? Yeah, I'm not holding my breath either. Gonna look in the mid-pack, because it'll give us a better view of everything that goes on into turn 1. Thought I saw a car sideways there, but that might have just been the depth perception beating my butt in. Fidel Fabian is mowing some grass. And he re-enters the circuit, and AJ Knickel is much more aware of the way he does it, because he did it in a way that made sense. Zorno has already gone from a lap down to taking a free pass and into the top half of the field, 6th place currently. This Jurgensmeyer, I think it's done in, probably by a slowdown penalty. And his teammate, Fidel Fabian, gets by. Possibly. Actually, never mind. I think Jurgensmeyer just burned a push-to-pass to get ahead of his teammate. And now he's getting raced by his teammate who's not even in the point standings. Which, well, if the rumors are true, it's probably only adding to Jurg's mindset. The rumors have been swirling around that he might be looking for a new team, not really enjoying JSR's setup building. Doesn't like the way they feel too much, which is weird. Because, well, I mean, I suppose he said he had to run a modified, like, Willow Springs setup at Centerton? I suppose that would probably tick me off, too. Well, around goes Matthew Daly at the final turn. And he has to wait to rejoin. Somebody else is off there. I don't know who that was. The camera angle here isn't helpful. That would have been... Who would that... Ah! I can't tell who it is. Forget it. They're back on the track. It doesn't matter. As Jamie's car was literally floating there. I don't know if you noticed that in the background, anybody. I certainly did. Oh, he's still floating, and he's floated straight off the race circuit. That looks silly. Yeah, Jamie Wright has mastered a hovercraft technology, but he has not mastered turn 3. And Scarborough is really... he's falling off the cliff. For someone who was at one point our points leader, it still is. I mean, he is our points leader at the moment by 4 points, but his 2 closest rivals are 1-2, and he's down here in 8th. I think we can probably call that lead as good as gone, barring some cataclysmic circumstances, really. Dylan Bam is just literally cruising right now. He has absolutely zero threat anywhere on the racetrack at the moment. 3.5 second lead over AJ Knickel. What is with these floating race cars? Jamie, please get on the ground. The downforce is clearly not working. What? First it was, the last 2 weeks it was the tire glitch, or like the camera glitch. Now it's this. Jamie's car is just straight up levitating like a few inches off the ground. He's caught up to the back of Lozano as he seeks to unlap himself from him. Because, reminder, Jamie Wright is a lap down after this guy's interesting driving. Jake Scarborough pits in this instance. Trying to probably trying to do something different on account of the fact that he is so far out of contention at the moment. And now, just like that, the field is extremely spread out. Lozano and Jamie Wright are the only cars even near each other on the racetrack, and they're not even on the same lap. Oh, big cornering speed difference. Lozano has to brake for that hairpin. Hairpin? Ugh. The kink. Jamie was not ready, and around goes the 61. He's since spiraling off the circuit, but probably got away with not a whole lot of damage in that. And I can tell based on his shift points and everything that Lozano is on the default setup, which nobody else on the racetrack is, I can assure you that. Or if anybody else is, it's probably like Kyler Boggs who joined late. And even he's making the pothole with much higher speed than Lozano. And as Dylan Bam is up on his way to put Jake Scarborough a lap down, which would just be an absolute just demoralizer for Scarborough if he gets a lap by the guy he's trying to stay ahead of in points. I think that's just the ultimate nail in the coffin for that one. You're supposed to be trying to finish ahead of this guy, and he's now lapped you. Like, it has very obviously gone quite wrong. Along with Juergensmeyer's rumored exit from JSR at season's end, there is the other rumor going around involving Van Oostendorp. Rumor has it he might be hanging up his helmet at the end of the season. The very superficial reasoning these rumors are circulating with is just, well, the generous terminology is lack of being competitive. But he was the points leader at one point. He just doesn't want to race if he doesn't think he can win, which, well, spins like that are probably only going to reinforce that belief. As the hover car of Jimmy Wright passes by, it looks so dumb. I feel like I might know what's causing it too, or at least I have a guess. I think what it probably is Jamie's probably had the tire pressures glitch when he pit, which has probably super inflated his tires to literally 50 psi. That would mean that his tires are more inflated and therefore bigger. But for us in the broadcaster's viewpoint of view, the tires don't appear to be any bigger, even though they actually are. So, on this screen, the tires with the correct pressures are not super far off the ground. We can see the car is it's absorbing the bumps on the front straightaway as though it is on the ground, which tells me that it obviously is on Jamie's screen and probably the other drivers, but not ours. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that on his screen his tires are probably 3 times higher PSI than they're supposed to be. And we have not synced those changes, kind of like desynced damage repair on certain cars if, like a car, for those who played Heat 5, if you, get in a big crash and, say your hood gets incredibly crumpled and dented in. Yeah, Travis has left the session. I think that, I don't want to say that confirms the rumors, but it certainly gives credence to it. Oh, and around goes Jamie. You'd probably be spinning like that if you had high tire pressures. So, but if you've ever been in a crash on Heat 5, and I mean most people in this race have, obviously your car takes damage visually. Like your hood gets scrunched in, or maybe there's a bunch of paint scraped off the side of your car. Well, when you pit to fix that, it goes away. For you. But not for anybody else on the track if it's an online lobby. As Dylan Bam is up to his former driver Jamie Wright, and he's going to put him a second lap down. As Jamie also pits, so he'll probably go a third down while he's at it. Or he'll just leave. Alright, we are now down to 9 cars on the track. 7 are on the lead lap. 6 are on the lead lap. And Matthew Daly is not far from being lapped himself. He's about 1 straightaway ahead of Dylan Bam. And he's currently being bothered by Matthew Stotts. So, How did we get so spread out on a track that's less than a mile long? How did we do this? Why must I suffer in this way? I just want to commentate. Race, where is the 28 going? Lozano, hello? The racetrack is over here, my guy. It says a lot when AJ Knechtel and Dylan Bam are still the two closest cars to one another on the racetrack. Dylan Bam has a 5.5 second lead. Should I just go full Fox Sports mode and just focus on the race leader until the end of time? And now Matthew Stotts is left, so we are down to 8 cars. And 6 of them are on the lead lap. And we're not even halfway done with this. At this point, this is where I'm almost tempted to just mute my microphone and go in to crank it up. Like, what's there to talk about? Dylan Bam is now catching up to Matthew Daly. He's about to put another car a lap down. He's going to be... Soon he will have lapped almost half the field. And it won't be long after that, he will have lapped half the field. And we might have a battle soon, though, as Matthew Daly is quickly catching up to Julian Lozano. I might want to put the camera there. Christ knows that might be the only place we actually get to see cars near each other today. At this point. It'll definitely help Matthew as well, or Daly as well, if he can safely and quickly get out of Dylan's way, but Julian Lozano is unable to do so as smoothly. As that was Jake Scarborough around, his day just keeps getting worse and worse. I mean, I guess he's getting 8th on attrition, but that's about it. As AJ Knechtel emerges from the pit lane just in front of his teammate Matthew Daly, and he'll be on the chart as we're about to reach halfway distance here. Around is a car. What was that car? That was Kyler Boggs. My brain was like, that's Travis. Wait, that's impossible. Travis is out of the race. I just saw the blue car. Yeah, like I thought the 6 and the 8 looked really similar, The flipping the 10 and the 21 look even more so. As AJ Knickel looks to make a move on Lozano. He doesn't want to lose a whole lot of time here. But he's going to have to go too wide through pothole with Lozano, and that is just asking for problems. Somehow, we make it out the other side, and AJ Knickel makes it out back into third place. This track was described as high degradation, but if the first pit stop for tire wear was at lap 29, I'm kind of beginning to wonder just how true that really is. As the thing that was Dylan Bam literally shooting off in towards the pit lane. That may have some implications later. And unless Jurgensmeyer does the same, he does not. He will move into provisional race lead, but I mean he'll still be in net third place. It is Julian Lozano versus Matthew Daly, meanwhile, for fourth place. AJ Knickel already some ways off into the distance and well out of range of this forthcoming battle for position. Never mind, Matthew Daly pits. So we will not have that battle. Now it's just time to see if well, it's gotten AJ a little closer. It's gained him 2 seconds, the undercut, as well as Dylan's mistake on the way into the pit lane. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter. That was a camera. A dynamic pan right. Like, dramatic camera shots for the win that ultimately seem pointless because there's nothing dramatic going on right now. Matthew Daly will emerge from the pits a lap down and not far away from Kyler Boggs, who's just been put one less down by Jake Scarborough. Wow, that really fried my brain there. What the heck? Jurgensmeyer pits, leaving very few cars on the track who have not made a stop yet. Right, that doesn't work. Forgot about that. And that works offline, but not online. I'll bring Jurg back to third. He should still definitely be clear of Lozano, though. I don't think he's going to be... Oh, no, that's not Lozano. That's Matthew Daly going by. But a lap down from Jurg, so it doesn't matter. And Jurgensmeyer is still about 3 seconds clear of the 28, so he will not have any issues from him. I can't say I disagree. The parity is gone. I don't really think this championship battle is going to come down to the wire like everyone thinks it is. Yeah, it's close right about now, but by the time we reach the final race, I can almost assure you it's going to be between Dylan and AJ. With Jurg maybe as a long shot if we're lucky, and if we're really unlucky, even AJ or Dylan, and it'll be clinched by the end of the race. By the... what? It'll... maybe even Jurg... Yeah, I know, it's fried. That brain cell's fried. And if we're really unlucky, AJ or Dylan might have a bad race or two, and the championship will be all but clinched before we even start the last race. I mean, you look at the way the last 3 races have gone compared to the first half of the season, it's really hard to say anything other than the fact that the momentum is all in the 44R camp right now. And that's only, excuse me, that's best demonstrated, that is simply best demonstrated by the fact that, well, I mean, AJ is 5 seconds behind Dylan, And he's 15 ahead of third place Jurgensmeyer. We just got another Snetterton. Except without the fuel strategy. So it's just going to be a flippin' parade for the last 23 laps of this race. Dylan doesn't really make mistakes when he's on his own. He only makes mistakes when he has to pass other people. And I don't know if you've noticed, that's like really not something he's had to do at all. I don't think he's ever not been the leader other than when he was in the pit lane. So, another retirement, that one being... Who was that? Am I daft? Who was that? That was Lozano out of the race. I don't know if that disconnect was intentional or not. It's hard to really tell. I know Lozano's internet isn't exactly spectacular, but he wasn't having a bad race. He was on the lead lap, last I was aware. So unless he crashed and gave up... Is he fuel saving there? Or is he just coasting? Literally the only on-track overtakes we've had are Dylan Bam lapping people. Like, we had the battle after AJ pit to overtake Julian Lozano. That was the only battle we've seen, pretty much, since, like, lap 15, maybe? If I'm being generous, maybe 17, 18. Now we're on lap 39. Ignore the 41. That's a lie. Doesn't know what it's talking about. It's full of it. I need to blow my nose. Yeah, it could have made for good battles, and we just needed more cars on it, you know? We're down to 7 cars, and 4 of them are on the lead lap. And Fidel's not on it by much. As a matter of fact, he is half a straightaway away from being lapped. And if this race goes green to the end, which I suspect it may, and Dylan keeps this shell-shocking pace on going, he might lap everybody except AJ. That said, AJ did put in a really fast lap, 2 laps in a row. He's starting to maybe try and, you know, he's trying to push the car, he's trying to get a little bit of time. Dylan might be complacent. Dylan also has a penalty. But I've seen him slowing down. Oh, my ear's just finally unplugged. Been waiting for that for about a half an hour. That was mildly infuriating. Dylan is about to hit some traffic, which may benefit AJ a tiny bit. Fidel out of the way. And that puts Dylan Bam... Oh, I don't know where I was going with that. It doesn't put him in a darn thing. It doesn't matter. .43.1 coming from AJ. He's pouring it on at the moment. We might actually see another... We might literally see another Snetterton, except this time it's AJ running Dylan down instead of the other way. Oh, that's Jake Scarborough. I was like, oh my god, is that Dylan off the track? No, that's Jake Scarborough getting out of everyone's way. As he is now 3 laps down. I hate to be that guy, but Mickey points leader. Oh, my neck just cracked. Okay, that's karma. Fidel gets slightly in AJ's way there. Not there was much you could do about it. Just how much AJ closed in the corner braking zone. Fidel couldn't really, move that much. Cracking Riker's neck goldfish. I literally have like an entire bowl full of goldfish next to me that I just didn't eat from lunch. I'll probably be chowing down on those when I finally get out of here. I get out of this torture chamber. AJ Knickel is slowly chipping away at that deficit. It is very much little by little. But we do still have about 15 to go. So there's still time for the Canadian to get there. Obviously catching is one thing, passing is the other, but I mean, just a glimmer of hope that we might actually see cars near each other. Racing is a little bit of copium, I'm going to be honest. The way this race has gone, the way the race before it went, this is just me being hopeful for once. So, we're on board with AJ Knickel, although those last two laps were not ideal. 43.6s, but Dylan Bams turned the heat back up as well. So, and he's only gotten further ahead. It's also now becoming the slight question of AJ's fuel load. 17 liters left with 13 to go. Oh, no, you say Dylan it's hammer time, but I think Dylan made a bit of a mistake there heading through the final hairpin. Despite an average lap from AJ, Dylan Bem ran a 44.9, lost a second and a half just there. Oh. My word, right on the limits through turn 1 for Knickel. And there goes Jake Scarborough out of the race. We are down to literally half what we started with. And even our points leader couldn't be bothered to sit through the attrition rates. Man, AJ is wrestling that car like it's Friday Night SmackDown. Yeah, that's a bad sign for AJ Knickel. I don't know if he even has the gas to reach the end right now. I wish. You know, I can confirm. I don't believe AJ Knickel has enough fuel to reach the end. He's using like 1.7 per lap. So he's got basically 5 laps of fuel left, but he's got 8 laps of racing left. I don't really know if you can fuel save that much. Not in this game. Dylan, meanwhile, is basically unfazed. He's got plenty of fuel left. Matthew Daly just got a time limit track penalty. What? A time penalty for track limits. There we go. Oh, my brain is turning off. I even took a nap. Like, I feel awake. It's just... my brain isn't autopilot. We're down to 5 cars. Kyler Boggs retired. Honestly, I wish I could retire my car. Yes. You want to try and you probably did want to try commentating this thing, honestly. I shouldn't even ask. You're probably doing a better job than... I say you'd be doing a better job than me. I should be doing a better job than me. There's nothing here, and I'm like trying to make a talent show out of shadow puppets. Like, instead of America's Got Talent, it's just New Zealand's Got Hairpins. Yeah, meanwhile, I'm all sleep and no energy. AJ Knickel pits in. He will, I believe, actually not... he will be clear of Jurgensmeyer, but it won't be by much. And there is the 18 car right there. And I will see how badly Jurgensmeyer wants it, and how if please help me. I don't get paid enough for this. Travis is getting paid $100 to commentate races with 3 wide photo finishes. I'm getting paid in, I'm getting paid in criticism of my emotions. I need to be more energetic. The races need to be more exciting for me to be more excited. It's a two-way street. But we might have a bit of excitement here following AJ Knickel's fuel deficiency. Jurgensmeyer is close enough to try a move if he gets a good run out of a corner. If he gets a good run out of the first turn, possibly. Or the last turn. Into the first turn, he'll make the move. Slipstream might do something, but it's only going to do so much. When I'm pretty sure that he hits the limiter at 173 or so. And I'm sure AJ probably left a little bit extra in the tank for push to pass. Maybe not. He's not on it right now. Does Jurg attempt? He does not. There may be a rivalry between JSR and 44R, but for the most part, that seems to be just basically... It doesn't really seem to be between Jurgensmeyer and Kinnickle. That just seems to be between AJ and the other two. It has come to 2 laps to go. We do have something of a race here between 2nd and 3rd place. Although Jurgensmeyer got absolutely outdone on the final turn there. AJ had arced it in. Well, he gets a little wiggle there, though. Jurg can maybe do something about that. A better run through the kink, but not better enough. All AJ really has to do is get into turn 1 well. And Jurg bobbling it on the exit of the final hairpin there really didn't help. I mean, it helped AJ. Doesn't help Jurg. Final lap. Dylan Bam is actually about to cross the start-finish line, pretty much. Last week it was the fastest driver, 3rd, and the best setup 1st. I don't really think you can dispute that today the best driver also won. Nose to tail, heading towards the final hairpin. Jurg dummies ascend. I don't really know if that was fooling anybody. Didn't even fool me, and I'm in the commentary box. But 1 more turn to go. Jurg is playing a little bit of the Cupid Shuffle. But he's out of time. Oh, never mind. AJ is super wide at the exit. We are going to have a photo finish, but it's not for the win. But AJ, with the run on the high lane, is going to stay in 2nd place, but by about a front wing. And so, with the grand total of 4 finishing cars at the end, I think Matthew Daly probably crossed earlier. So 5 finishing cars at the end. We started with 13. That was certainly one of the races. I just dropped my remote. That was certainly one of the races I have ever called. I probably didn't feel like much of a race with Dylan Bam. I probably just felt like one of those old arcade games where you're just passing infinite numbers of traffic. Like pole position. Time extended. Our podium finishers quickly arrive in the interview and imaginary box. We'll start with narrow 3rd place finisher, Mr. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, who's kind of just limited damage. He's not going to make much ground up on the other 2 in points, but he'll stay in striking distance, I suppose. Nearly had AJ, but is there any particular part of that last few laps that seemed to basically be the nail in the coffin for you?
I knew I didn't have a lot of straight line speed going into this race, so I knew passing wouldn't be that easy for me, but I mean, I didn't expect AJ to have to pit. I mean, if I pushed a little more on that long stint, maybe I could have gotten ahead of AJ and he couldn't have come that ahead of me, but I mean, I was just cruising at that point, just trying to bring it home. I mean, 3rd isn't the worst in the world. I mean, I'll take it, all things considered. I'm still in it with a decent chance in the last 2 races, so I'll take 3rd out of it, no matter how close 2nd was.
You're hanging on, which at this point I think is more than the rest of the drivers can really say. I don't think I'm pretty sure Stotts and Gabe's DNFs are probably going to put them right out of contention. I don't really know how close Jake's going to be out of this one either with his 8th position, or whatever it was. But, I don't know. I was about to say new points leader. No, I don't actually. I think Dylan would pass AJ Kunickle here.
Yeah, I think Dylan probably would have passed me. I think he'll have +5 or something to me, maybe +7.
But, I guess the obvious question is, did you, when you came out of the pits at the end of your little, like, I guess it was a pseudo undercut, did you think you had enough fuel to reach the end, or did you know fuel saving was going to be in the cards from the beginning?
I went as tight to the prediction as I possibly could have, and I inadvertently was running a little closer to the red line after the pit stop than I probably could have been. The plan was to push Dylan as hard as I could into maybe making a mistake, and I felt like with less fuel and fresher tires that the undercut and then be in the lead would be the way to do it. Unfortunately, we never got to the lead, but we got so close to him when he had that 2 seconds. It just, my planned fuel saving kind of went out the window. I just, at that point, I felt like I had to apply pressure, and I had kind of built enough of a gap to Jurg, and I was kind of doing the math in my head about, like, pit delta and how much gas we were using a lap, and all that kind of stuff. And I felt like as we pulled on Jurg, it was just kind of making it so that we could, or I could, kind of come out ahead of him with a cushion. But on my in lap, I got a track limits violation, which is the only reason I was so close to him. I had to like lay way off. I probably lost three and a half seconds there. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I'm happy to come away with second, considering the car was quick. I think the pace was totally like shown. I think Dylan and I have continued to build a really good baseline for every single race, and we tailor it to kind of fit our personal needs. And we'll move on to next week and have some more good, clean battles.
I don't know if I'd really call this a battle.
Yeah, it's always a mental battle. You come in every week trying to like outpace the person that you're trying to beat on points. So yeah,
you and Dylan are in psychological warfare, but I feel like I'm losing.
I wouldn't call it psychological warfare. I would call it more teammates who know each other's setup so well to the point that we're fairly equal now when it comes to pace. So it's all about track position and trying to get that jump on each other.
And then speaking of track position, or race, honestly race dominator, race winner doesn't even begin to describe it. Other than the pit cycle, you never even let go of the lead. Dylan Bam winning by an unreasonable margin, all things considered. Only time I think I saw him make any mistake was he broke traction into the pit entry. But that didn't ultimately matter, I don't think. With just 2 rounds to go, how likely do you think it is that you'll be able to carry all the momentum you've taken from this race, and to a certain extent from Snetterton, and win that teammate battle that Kunickle has just mentioned?
See, I think it's very likely. I mean, I haven't done the numbers and the statistics. Like, if you look at like every race, the pace between me and him, it's usually me who's faster. So I think I have the upper hand in this battle. And now we're back at the points lead. Finally. So yeah, looking to close this one out. Finally.
I mean, it's taken a little longer than other championships you've earned, to say the least. You didn't clinch it 2 rounds in advance, or some crazy stuff like that. But I mean, there's really hardly anything else to question on a race like that, because I can't really ask about battles, strategy, or whatever, because you didn't really have to do that. I mean, you had to do strategies, but it seemed pretty straightforward. Just pit a little after halfway and walk away. I suppose there was a bit of time if you felt like you were pressured by AJ anywhere near that sort of like mid to late part of the race, or if you were just kind of in control and weren't even thinking about it.
I mean, I did get the pit stop glitch again, which, I mean, I might have even helped me because the tire pressures were then staggered. The left sides were lower than the right sides, which on a track that, you know, is predominantly left turns might actually help. But, it was more so just be consistent and know that, you know, even if he is catching, which he wasn't really catching it through most of the race, that catching is one thing, passing is another, and that the dirty air is just going to be, and the tight nature of the track is just going to be not, you know, I had an upper hand being in the lead, and I didn't intend on letting it go.
Well, that was made very clear. Yeah, I mean, I literally said that verbatim earlier in the race, so I think that rings true for any racetrack, but especially one like this with some like, you know, relatively high-speed corners. So I mean, that's about all the interviewing I can think to do. Unless there's any last-second comments from any of you three. Take it as a no. Okay. Awkward. Yeah, so that'll wrap things up from Ruapuna Park. Only 2 more rounds to go now, and Thursday we are looking at probably having the next round of the Porsche Super Cup, the Italian Super GP, which I can only assume is Monza. I doubt it'd be Imola. And then obviously the following 2 days will be the 2 F1 series with their own Italian Grand Prix, or Grands Prix at Monza. You won't be hearing from me for those though, but you will hear from me on Thursday. To shout out these sponsors, to DIVEBOMB, ARC's official title sponsor. They write news articles and keep their viewers up to date with everything happening around the motorsport world. Mostly European though. SimLeague Pro, the forum-based site that ARC has been using to organize, recruit for, and schedule its various events. And for prospective drivers who are looking for any league and not just ARC, forum pages there will guide you to at least one league for pretty much any game you can think of. The Burning Rubber Podcast, a podcast focused around the American oval racing side of things with dirt racing and, well, the touring NASCAR series. They get the occasional interviewee in there as well for that. I think they also do some GTE stuff. Or like GT. I don't know. It's American motorsports. It's basically everything DIVEBOMB wouldn't cover as much. James McAdam, with shout out to him for the partnership that he has established with ARC, which lets us use his in-game photography and screenshots to help with promoting the league on our different social media accounts, and to AJ Knickel Design, the design firm run by AJ Knickel, funny enough. He makes the graphics that go over those promotional posts on the different social accounts. But with that said, 2 races to go, and I think this has knocked out, well, it's definitely knocked out Gabe and Stotts from championship contention. Jake is now on the outside looking in. My brain cells are deleted. It's basically going to be between AJ and Dylan to see who wins that technical alliance battle. But until the next round, which I do not know what it is, but it's probably an international circuit somewhere else, that'll be from me. It from me. Goodbye.